Hey guys, it's Jonathan McCormack. I'm an attachment specialist in New York. You can find me at attachmenthealinghelp.com. And I just want to talk about getting unstuck with attachment patterns. There's a couple ways that you can do this. You can use parts work, right? So a lot of times our attachment patterns are really, if you want to think about it, like wounded children reacting, things from our past. And so, like for instance, if someone rejects us, we might feel panicked. Well, when you're a little kid, if your parent were to reject you, you would die. So of course you're going to get panicked. Your body, your mind is going to give you some emotions, panic, to cause a behavior, connect, or else you'll die. And then when you grow up and someone rejects you, you might get the same feelings. But you're an adult. You're not going to die. Relationships aren't necessary to survival. Intimate relationships, they're valuable, very, very valuable. So that's a wounded child part. So what you can do is you can talk to that part, find that part, go into that emotion, personalize it, and then listen to it. Like, what's going on? Maybe that 8-year-old part, and that 8-year-old part is getting yelled at by a teacher or their mother, and you can witness it. And then you can soothe it. Give it some love. Maybe you can have imaginary ideal parents come in, or maybe just you can do it. Just give it some love, some understanding, and then you can unburden it. Like, listen, you're just a little kid. You don't need to deal with those things. Another way is to do the 3-pillar model with Dan Brown and David Elliott, Attachment Disturbances for Adults, and that's using it has 3 pillars: collaboration, working with the person. It's very together, relational. Mentalization, really thinking about how we're thinking. And then the ideal parent protocol. It's basically where you think of, you imagine you have ideal parents, and you have them kind of giving you all those things you didn't get as a kid, all those things, being seen, being known, being delighted in, being supported, being soothed, all those things necessary for development. And what you're doing is you're making a new internal working model. It's from Bowlby. Your internal working model tells you what relationships are, what you can expect from people, what you expect them to do, what's expected of you. And you're making a new internal working model. That's great. But here's the other thing. I think this is the number one thing in all of therapy, for everything, not just attachment. Stuckness. It's very difficult to change if you're not thinking about things the correct way. Your conscious mind, your unconscious mind have to be on the same track. And I do a bunch of things. One thing is kind of deep mind programming. And it's exactly this. How many times you've heard this? I'm my own worst. People just say that, and they believe it. But the truth is, your mind is always for you. Your mind is always trying to help. It might not know how. It might be doing a bad job, but it's not an enemy. You just have to talk to it. So this is how you talk to your unconscious to get unstuck. Just an example. So say someone comes in and goes, yeah, I think I'm anxiously attached. That's what type of person I am. And I'm an anxious person. And my girlfriend says this, or my boyfriend says that, and I get a lot of anxiety. Well, me, I'll say, okay, well, how would you like to feel? Well, if you can get a goal, if you can articulate your intention, you could change. You can change like that. But most people can't. It's difficult. I'll ask, how do you want to feel? Boy, that's hard, How do they want to feel? So they'll say something like this. Well, I want to feel not anxious. Here's the thing. The unconscious doesn't understand negation, doesn't understand the word not. Watch. Do not think of a pink elephant. If the unconscious hears it, it pictures it. Period. So when you're saying, I do not want to be anxious. I want to be not anxious, not depressed, not this, not that. The unconscious mind just hears over and over again, anxious, depressed. You have to have a positive correlate. I don't tell them that. It's okay. So I'll be like, what's the positive correlate of that? And they might think a while and say, calm. I'd like to be calm. Here's the problem with that. The unconscious only understands specifics. You have to be able to draw a picture of it. Draw a picture of calm. That's too abstract. What we do is we have a general intention. I just like to be calm, happy, whatever, in general. And then if I'm like that, I'll be like that in specific situations. That's upside down. You have to come up with a specific situation, and the unconscious will take that specific situation and generalize it to others. Why? Well, because we'll do it 2 or 3 times and have a pattern. And the brain will start using that for attachment or for whatever we're talking about. Okay. So I'll say, give me a specific scene where you want to be calm. Like specific. Say in 2 weeks, you have to tell your girlfriend or boyfriend X, Y, and Z, and they're going to react badly. Let's really get that. Okay, so I'd want you to tell me how you want to feel. And if you say calm, be like, what does that mean? If someone's there, what would they see you doing? Say it's confident. Say, I want to be confident when I tell my boyfriend this. How would you be if you were confident? What would I say? A lot of times they won't know. People are like, I don't know. What do you mean? Well, if you saw someone who was confident, what would they look like? I don't know. Well, listen, if someone's confident, we know. They got to have his shoulders back, chest up, chin high. Probably look you straight in the eye. You need to embody things somatically. Not feel confident. No. Picture yourself. Now I have a picture. Now I have a picture of myself with my shoulders back, chest high, chin up, talking to my girlfriend. And how's my voice? Very even. And you can picture me. And where am I feeling that? Let's ground it. Where do you feel that calm? You feel, my stomach's very expansive and open, okay? And I have that down. So now we have a picture, specifically what they want to feel like, what they want to be like. Okay, we have that. And a lot of times I'll ask, what do you want to feel like? And they'll start telling me how it's been. Well, I just did this. Someone said, arguing with a girlfriend. I go, okay, well, how do you want to be? They start telling me like, well, last week I got into an argument with her. And it was just like a year ago. And tell you the truth, they're still talking about the past. We're trying to see how things are going to be in the future. But I'm telling you, you keep looking back how things have been. And you can't get anywhere. As long as you're looking back, you're unconscious, like, okay, that's the way to go, how things have been. Here's another problem. You probably didn't pick it up. But when I began, the person said, I'm anxiously attached. I'm an anxious person. What you've done is you've taken that negative thing, you've attached it to your identity. I know people used to talk about anxiously attached to it, and that's fine. But when you get deep into it, these are patterns. Anxiety, that's a feeling. You've had feelings of anxiety in the past. And now we're going to talk about the future. But if it's part of your identity, you can't change that. If that's how you think of yourself, I am anxious. Well, what can you do? You can't do anything. Another kind of a stuckness is thinking that how things have been is how they'll always be. I'm anxious right now. And that means I'm going to be anxious when I see my girl. That's going to be anxious, this, that, the other thing. They cannot think in the future. But you'll see that. It's amazing. You'll see. You can ask people. And instead, they will not. I'll say, well, how do you want to be? Okay, well, I don't want to be this. Because I'm always anxious with her. Always. Every time with her, no, I know that. How do you want to be? Well, last night I was with her. I was very anxious. Okay. That's the other thing is new behaviors. This is huge. So they think, boy, I've had these anxious attachment patterns in the past, but now I have new learning. I've learned a lot of new things. Why am I still acting like this? Because new learnings don't cancel out old learnings. It's like a big tube, and you fill it with half red sand. Those are the old learning. And then you have new learning, blue sand. What happens to the red sand? Nothing. It's still there. It's still there. That won't work. Simply having new. You have to get to the bottom. That's what you have to do. And that's kind of more like the unconscious ways. There's basically 20 ways if you can get stuck. Just the way we think about things, and the most important thing is just to get an intention, something you can work towards, a goal, something specific. People say, I want to be happy in general. What does that look like? I want to explore more. I want to, what does that look like? Specifically, give me some things I can write down and you can see yourself doing. Also, a lot of people have things they need to be before they change. I want to get a relationship, I need to love myself first before I can love. No, that's incorrect. Trust me on this one. You don't have to love yourself first. You don't got to do it. I don't even know how to do that. I have no idea anyone who's actually done that. Okay, I have no idea how you would do. You can respect yourself. I can tell you about that. Got a bunch of values, write them down, stick to them, and have self-respect. Yeah, you can respect yourself. You don't have to love yourself. You can just do these things. Don't worry about that. Or I need motivation. If you're going to wait for motivation, think like a crow. A crow is not sitting on a branch thinking, I got to get to the other branch. I just got to get motivated first. As soon as I get motivated, I'll go get that worm. No, they just do it. It has nothing to do. Why do they do it? Well, their mind has attached appeal and interest to the thing. It appeals to them. It's interesting. So naturally, you go towards it. Once you recognize what is interesting, appealing about it. That's how you handle that. The other one, I need to understand the root of my problem. Oh, Lord, introspection. If you're intelligent, you're like doomed. Intelligent people need to understand. They need to understand, why am I doing this? Maybe it has something to do with my mother. Maybe it has something to do with this. Maybe some of that. Trying to get a huge understanding, it really doesn't help. It really doesn't help. I know people that are incredibly insightful, and they can tell you everything. I do this. When I was 3 years old, this happened and that happened. Let me tell you this, and I know why I'm doing it. But they can't change. They can tell you exactly why. Tons of insight. But, that's why more therapy, whatnot, is kind of about giving an experience, a somatic experience. It's about having an experience relationally in the moment. That's a lot more important. There's tons and tons of other things. I just wanted to get a couple things. It's a shame because I wish other people knew. If you can just 3 sentences, exactly what you want, without using all these stucknesses, your mind and your unconscious mind will be on the same level. Your unconscious mind will have a picture. Oh, that's what you want. I've been hearing anxious, not anxious thing. Now I have something specific. Then you say happier, calm. Unconscious has no idea what that is. But now I have a picture to move towards. And your conscious mind will have something to look for and to notice and to say, oh, this is happening. Like, for instance, real quick, so I know a guy who's depressed, and he kept saying he wants to be not depressed. I was like, I know, what's that like? Well, I'd be happy. What is that like? What does that feel like? And one of the things is to get energized. All right, we got it. Energized. What would that look like? After a long time, he finally told me. He wakes up, he's in bed for like an hour. But if he was energized, he would get right out of bed. Right now, he took his dog for a walk for like 10 minutes. But boy, if he's feeling energized, he takes his dog out for long walks. Okay, so now we have literally something to look for and to notice. The conscious mind has a mission now, and the unconscious has a picture to move towards, something specific. And that will guide you. That will guide you. If you don't have something to look at and to guide, and that should guide every session too. You should have an intention. What do I want out of this? Because that is what your unconscious is going to move towards. The way we're thinking now, we literally have our unconscious moving us the other way constantly. And so people get stuck. And that's with everything. Success, this, that. Just things like, I want to get here, but I just can't move forward. I just can't move. It's how you're thinking. just setting an intention and understanding how to do that is huge. Because if you don't do it, I don't care how much work you do, you're unconscious. Most of your mind is going to be working against it. Not on purpose, trying to help you. That's what it hears. But that's what's going to be happening. But if you can get the unconscious, conscious mind to sync, it's one of the things I do, and it's enormously helpful. Once you do that, then the work speeds right through. But anyway, there's a bunch of other things. I'll make some more videos on specific types of stuckness and what you can do. I appreciate you guys listening to me. Thanks.